Hey guys, I'm super pumped today for a few reasons. I mean, yeah, sure, I guess I got a new kitten and that's fun, but I also get to talk to you guys about some awesome new Kickstarters launching this month, as well as some updates that you might want to know about. Now, before we get started with the Kickstarter launches, I wanted to bring your attention to Sheol, which is a super cool upcoming Kickstarter that's kind of been under the radar. The minis look really cool and they claim to have 15 plus, so ideally this is a quality versus quantity thing. The world and art look fantastic. They literally talk about the moon crying darkness onto the earth. I mean, how cool is that? The art direction reminds me of BioShock meets Tron, and I mean that in the coolest way possible. From what I can tell, it's very story heavy and describes itself as a cooperative combat exploration game with multiple campaigns. I have some links to them that you can find in the description below. And hey, speaking of scrolling down, if you find this video helpful, please go ahead and press that thumbs up button. It really does help boost the channel a bit, and I appreciate it a lot. Of course, if you want to continue seeing useful videos like this, don't trust Google's AI to figure it out, and subscribe with the bell icon activated to be notified of future videos just like this. And now, it's time for some Kickstarter launches. As you probably already know if you've watched my channel at all previously, Batman Gotham City Chronicles Season 2 by Monolith launches June 4th. That's right around the corner. I have a details video on it already. You can see a ton of info on it. Be there or be square. Next up, I have Trouble in Templetown yet again. They weren't actually quite able to get okayed by Kickstarter, and so they had to move and postpone until June 10th. Apparently, if you're in Romania, you don't have access to Stripe, and so that's what they require. So without it, you have to send them documentation. And sending documentation takes time, so they just had to move it. But they got the okay, and they're good to go now. Next up, we have Eternal Adversary on June 17th. This one's kind of exciting. I haven't really followed a lot of Peterson games before, and this might be the first one I jump into. I don't know. I'll have to see. Following that, we have Midara, the second Kickstarter on June 24th. This one looks really, really cool. It looks very story-driven. I dig the anime style. I like the bright colors and all that. It looks like a really big passion project, and I wish them the best of luck on their second Kickstarter. I know I have full intentions of being a part of that, so you'll probably see me there. And of course, we can't forget Mythic Games' own Super Fantasy Brawl on June 25th. That's right, just a day after the Midara. In fact, there's a June 24th, 25th, and 26th launch. It's kind of crazy. This is going to be their kind of, I don't know, what do you call that genre? Like sports skirmish? I don't know. What I do know is you will be seeing some content on that in the future on this channel. And I kind of already teased this, but the Green Conquest will be launching on June 26th. This one's kind of crazy. It kind of reminds me of, like those old, Wacky Racers cartoons kind of thing, but also with Twisted Metal and steampunk. That's probably the best way I can actually describe it. It's, kind of like I don't know. You know what? I'll put a link in the description below. You can kind of, see what's going on there. Alright. Anyway, that's it. That's all that's launching in June that I am tracking anyway. So let's get on to what is ending in June. First up, on June 13th, Halls of Horror will have ended their campaign. They're still in the middle of funding it, and they're kind of doing a lot of pushing there. There's a lot of followers, but they're not converting to backers quite yet. And so if you want to get on that bandwagon, if you want to get it successfully funded, be sure to check out the link in the description below to the Kickstarter. Alter Quest will be ending on June 24th. At the time of this recording, they are currently working on unlocking a horseman hero dude. Well, that seems pretty cool. They blew past their funding fairly quickly, which, with the well-known designers that they have there, it's not a surprise at all. So again, if you do want to be a part of that and you haven't yet, you might want to, though you kind of have all of June, really. So there's still plenty of time to unlock a lot of stretch goals and be a part of that. Alright, finally we have some Kickstarter updates. Now, with the updates section, I've actually put a lot of effort into this, or at least more than I have in the past, so it's going to be a little bit longer, but hopefully a little bit more informative to you guys, and a real good kind of look at the landscape that we have here right now when it comes to miniature board games on Kickstarter. Starting things off with Zombicide Invader, because of course it starts with the CMON game. That just seems right. I mean, there's always a CMON game. This one in particular, Zombicide Invader, is going to begin delivery by late June. So this is actually applicable for the June video. Late June, they're going to actually start putting this on your doorstep. That's exciting. Speaking of deliveries, Joan of Arc, the Wave 1 deliveries from Mythic Games have begun. There are already people getting freakishly huge amounts of boxes and miniatures and unboxing them. I am not one of those yet, but I will be, so stay tuned for that OCD unboxing. It's going to be a long one. I can guarantee you that. So when you see that pop up on the channel, grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfortable. I don't know, maybe put on the TV and like sit on a couch or a lazy boy or something. I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot of stuff coming. And that's only wave 1. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to make some shelf space, I think. My body's ready, my shelf is not. Anyway, so that is coming, and there will be obviously more content on the channel for that once it does arrive, which hopefully is soon. On a completely unrelated note, Starcadia Quest is getting a comic book thanks to IDW. They will be publishing that comic. I don't know how big of an event this is going to be. However, I am thinking about picking it up because if nothing else, I think my kids would really dig it. Staying on the sci-fi kind of trope here, Chronicle X should actually begin shipping soon. They took in a lot of feedback on the rules and kept updating it as improvements were suggested, which did take a bit. I am happy to report, though, that I got an index added into it, so no matter what, that won't be a negative on the game. Awakened Realms has been busy. They just set up a preview Kickstarter page for the Etherfields game that they have coming out. It has an extremely limited detail on it, though, and is mostly just marketing speech, such as, and I quote, totally different board game experience, and skills with most surprising rules you will ever witness in a board game. If you look past the incredibly pretentious marketing mumbo-jumbo, though, there's possibly an interesting deck-building game there. My only concern so far with this is that the focus is definitely on the amazing art and the interesting-looking miniature sculpts, and not necessarily on the gameplay itself. I look forward to hearing more about that in the future. Now, one important thing to note here, if you're kind of unaware of what Awakened Realms has kind of been dealing with lately, is their last 2 major deliveries suffered from some widespread production issues, namely the melted soldier from Nemesis and the different sized cards and misaligned game board of the second wave for Lords of Hellas. Just something to keep in mind going into it. You can read more about Etherfields via the link in the description below to the preview page. And hopefully they'll keep adding some more gameplay information and we can really figure out what kind of crazy dream game this is actually going to be. For Arena the Contest, production is ongoing with an estimated delivery of August. They found an issue with the storage tray and decided to update and reprint it so that it fits perfectly. This is better than Black Rose Wars that shipped with a storage tray that didn't actually fit the components, so I'm perfectly fine with this delay. Bloodstone by Druid City Games is now a late 2019 or early 2020 Kickstarter. This was not always the case. It was going to come out much earlier, actually kind of around this time or even earlier in the year. I hadn't really heard a lot about it. We did some digging, and on BGG I noticed that they kind of announced this via a response in the middle of a thread on Board Game Geek. So it's not like it was super obvious, but that's kind of why it's been quiet. I guess they're still working on it. It's a big project for them. So might even be early 2020 before we see that. Speaking of not seeing things, Mega Metro City was canceled and the company was shut down with 200% funding raised and less than 24 hours to go before successfully funding. This was regretful and hard, but ultimately the right move for them to make. Most of the additional funds came from add-ons, but that wasn't a great setup, and between that and the looming trade war stuff, they were no longer confident that they could deliver at the quality promised, and so they canceled the campaign before anyone was charged. I cannot imagine how difficult of a decision this was, and I wish everyone involved amazing success in the future. This was a real stand-up thing for them to do. Limbo Eternal War just had an update post where they showed off some of the amazing miniatures that were cast in the steel molds. They look great. Shipping of the 75mm minis are ongoing, so next up is the game itself. I'm personally expecting that shipment to start in July. Solomon Kane has been delayed from July 2019 to, get this, Q1 2020. That's a huge delay, but hopefully it's reasonable and won't be delayed past that time frame. The cause was some big gameplay changes, and then just general gameplay work that needed to be done. Their updates have been frequent and very detailed though, which is reassuring. The following games are still available for a late pledge. I can't promise how long they'll be available, but they are at the day of posting, so again, if you have subscribed and hit the notification bell icon, and you're watching this when I actually post it the day I post it, then you can click any of the links to their late pledges below and get in on this. And that will be Dark Rituals, Bloodborne, Kingdom Rush Rift in Time, Shadows of Brimstone Adventures, Valor and Villainy, Wild Ascent, Limbo Eternal War, Solomon Kane, Vanguard of War with Zombies, Black Rose Wars, and Chronicle X. Now, last thing here, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Critical Core, which is available to late pledge as well. As a father to a severely handicapped autistic son, I thought this D&D for people on the spectrum campaign to be heartwarming and a really cool idea. Be sure to check out the link to their campaign in the description below. Alright guys, that's all I have for you. There was a ton of updates there. There's definitely more launching this month. This was a crazy one. This took some time to research and kind of get all this information and put together for you guys, but I hope you found it helpful. Again, if you did, let Google know, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. It actually helps and it's free. As always, subscribe if you want to see more. I'm definitely going to be unboxing a lot of the stuff I just mentioned over time as soon as I get them, and doing some miniature paintings and other videos just like this one. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, I'm going to go play with my kitten. I'll talk to you soon.